Donald Trump called Kamala Harris a fascist 5 times on the campaign tour, and you don't want to admit that, but you want to complain about the word fascist.
How many shots were fired at Kamala? Let's see. Donald Trump
shots?
almost got assassinated.
So you only care
Donald
about
Trump
the word.
almost got assassinated. Charlie Kirk was assassinated. ICE agents are being attacked. Kids are being shot in schools.
So do you think that Democrats were celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk? Do you think
some were? Absolutely, some were.
Can you name me one elected official that was celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk?
AOC was out there saying.
What did she say?
AOC specifically said that, you know, nobody deserves to die, but the things he said were really divisive.
So there is a difference between I'm going to give you, this is such a ridiculous argument because I did this on Piers Morgan last week. There is a difference between celebrating the death of somebody, which, by the way, you're wrong. AOC did not do that, and not wanting to celebrate somebody's life.
Hold on. With
you're wrong. Tell me what AOC said that, quote, celebrated the murder of Charlie Kirk. What you just quoted.
She didn't throw a birthday party with balloons and confetti.
What did she say to celebrate the death? Tell me.
She, through one side of her mouth, says, yeah, this is really bad, and then goes and spews the same rhetoric that caused him to get killed in the first place.
Not liking what somebody said, saying that you don't like somebody for spreading hatred,
because here's the reality, Brian.
Violence? That's
here's the reality, Brian. Here's the reality, Brian. The tone and the rhetoric coming out of the left is inspiring.
Let's
you
talk
can
about
laugh,
that.
but it's inspiring people to commit violence. And so what are you going to do about it? As a matter of fact, I'm going to click comments right now. I'm going to click comments. And if you think I'm making this up, let's see what your comments even say right now.
Right now, I'm not concerned about the comments.
I'm just telling you the truth, man.
And I'm just telling you the truth. Donald Trump, at Charlie Kirk's own ceremony and funeral, said he hated half the country. Why don't you ever call out that sort of rhetoric?
No. He said he hates the people that killed Charlie Kirk as political.
No, he didn't say that. That's not true. He said he hated his political opponents.
His enemies.
He said he hated his political opponents.
And what was it? Yes, and that was another thing. And I do not want to get into this because I'm still too annoyed to even debate about it. But the that funeral was 4 hours of prayer. Charlie Kirk's wife gets up, and Erica Kirk, and forgives his killer.
Not talking about
and then you guys, no, of course you're not, because instead you're spending hours
talking about
a hand-picked phrase to make it look like the left is hateful. Because Brian, here is the reality. And look, we're not going to agree on this, and it's fine. Here is the reality. The rhetoric coming out of the left is becoming dangerous and increasingly violent. And every time there's violence, you guys have to pivot and poke and point fingers. But you guys own this, and yet you can't.
Wrong. You just said that there are elected Democrats that have celebrated the death of Charlie Kirk. You're lying. Give me an example of an elected Democrat who openly is celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk. You're caught in a lie, David. And give me one quote.
Brian, I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Of course, because you can't give me one quote. You're lying.
It's because.
Give me a quote. Give me a quote.
Brian.
Give me a quote.
Brian, listen, you live in your world. I'll live in mine.
It's not about living in the world.
No, it is. Because in your reality, you can say whatever you want. J.D. Pritzker can say whatever he wants. Gavin Newsom can say whatever he wants. Conservatives can be shot. Conservatives can be rammed with cars. Conservatives can have urine thrown at them and be punched in the face. And then it's just, well, they're antagonizers. Or no Democrat politician is actually calling for all of this. The problem is you guys take zero accountability for your hateful rhetoric. You call people Nazis. I'm telling you, you call people Nazis. You call people communists. You call people a threat to democracy. And then when all of your cult members, you call us cult members, then when your cult members kill people, you take no accountability.
Hold on a second.
Yes.
First of all, I'm not the president of the United States. How many times did Donald Trump call Kamala Harris a fascist when he was running for office?
How many times have Democrats called President Trump a Nazi or a fascist?
Answer the question, okay? I'm going to ask.
I'm not going to answer the question because these are ridiculous questions.
No, because you don't.
Listen, Brian, here's the reality. Look, we're on different sides of this. I think the people on the left are getting to a dangerous place where federal agents and officers are being attacked. ICE agents are being called fascists.
What happened on
January 6th? People are hitting them with cars.
What happened on January 6th?
What happened on January 6th?
Were those Antifa? Was that lefties, Democrats, or those
actually? Yes, and there were almost 200 FBI agents who were seen literally removing window panes from the Capitol. I know what happened on January 6th. You're never going to admit what happened on January 6th. It was a giant setup, is what happened on January 6th. But talk to Pam about it. Pam will agree with you. Pam will agree with you.
Nothing that was proven in the courts that to exemplify.
Nothing was proven in the courts. Fine. Let's go with that narrative. Just like the 2020 election, just like the Russia collusion. Let's go with, well, there's no proof
right.
of it.
Yeah,
so
you're
it
right.
didn't happen.
You're right.
No
Trump
proof.
won the 2020 election. So, David, I'll ask you now for a third time because you brought it up, not me. Okay, you brought it up.
Then I got to run, but yes.
Okay, understood. You brought it up, not me.
Yeah.
You made the claim that elected Democrats in office are celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk.
Correct.
You didn't make an example of AOC, who you claimed was, which, by the way, she wasn't. She was saying just like what I say. What happened was horrible, but I don't like Charlie Kirk. I don't like what he stood for. I don't think he was a good guy. There is a difference between celebrating the murder of somebody, which I would never do, and no elected Democrat official has done, and saying you don't want to celebrate his life. So I ask you again now for a third time, or retract. Name me one elected Democrat that has openly celebrated the murder of Charlie Kirk.
How are you defining celebrating?
Are you serious?
Yeah. I'm asking you how you're defining celebrating. Like
saying, I'm happy he died. I'm happy he was murdered.
Yeah.
Thank God for this kid Robinson for doing what he did. Now, give me one quote or one example.
I don't have any quotes. What I will do after this, I will research to see if any Democrats specifically said what you highlighted as celebratory language. And if I can't find it, I'll send you a text and you can share it on your show that says, David admitted no Democrat celebrated in the words that I used Charlie Kirk's murder. Okay, that's fair.
I appreciate that, but here's what I don't.
My point is, you can't, on one side of your face, condemn a murder and then go back to the same rhetoric that led to the murder to begin with. And when words like fascist, anti-fascist,
which Donald Trump has used,
the bullet literally said, "Hey, fascist, catch the bullet that struck Charlie Kirk."
Again,
I'm just telling you,
and I'm just telling you,
Charlie Kirk.
I'm just telling you,
said the exact language that's coming out of Democrats' mouths.
And I'm just telling you, the leader of your party, Donald Trump, called Kamala Harris a fascist 5 times on the campaign tour. And you don't want to admit that, but you want to complain about the word fascist.
How many shots were fired at Kamala? Let's see. Donald Trump almost got assassinated.
So you only care about
Trump almost got assassinated. Charlie Kirk was assassinated. ICE agents are being attacked. Kids are being shot in schools.
What happened in Minnesota?
Detainees. Yes, exactly. An Antifa radical shot a Democrat in Minnesota. Yeah, absolutely true. Look it up. Look it up. It's true. You guys are blaming it on Trump. It's false. That's fake news. It was a right wing. It was not a right wing. It was an Antifa extremist who didn't like her abortion policies.
Okay.
Look it up.
Well, in closing, I'll say this.
Yeah.
The problem I have is when people like you make statements like elected Democrats are celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, they are.
And hold on. Yeah. And then you're questioned on it, and you can't give me one quote. And
Brian,
you say,
God, you're trying to pit me into saying that AOC said, boo-hoo, I'm happy Charlie's dead. What I said to you in answer to your question is the rhetoric that comes out of their mouths is insensitive to the fact that their rhetoric is what led to Charlie Kirk dying. That is what I said to you. I said you can't go and pretend you're not responsible for your rhetoric. And do you anyway, it's fine. We're not going to agree on this. No, it's cool.
You think you should be responsible for your rhetoric if Donald Trump?
You guys held Donald Trump responsible for his rhetoric. You impeached him. You impeached him and tried to charge him in federal court for his rhetoric.
Well,
remember?
First of all, he's a 34-count convicted felon, and second of all, if Donald Trump doesn't say the election was stolen, do you think that rhetoric might have contributed to January 6th? Or
the election was stolen. He's allowed to say the election was stolen. It's his job.
He's allowed to. Okay, he's allowed to. Well, guess what? Anybody on the left is allowed to say they don't like Charlie Kirk.
Sure, it's right. But guess what? When people are starting to get shot because of the rhetoric you're using, and then you say, we're not responsible for that. Nobody condones or celebrates the murder, and you go back to the same exact language and rhetoric that causes this violence.
So why don't you call out Donald Trump for calling Kamala Harris a fascist? Then
that's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. So only when the left does it, you want to call it out. But if the right does,
let's just agree on yes. Let's agree with I'm a hypocrite and let's call it a day.
All right. Fair enough, David.